Hello, Internet, and welcome to Moon Theory. This is a strange one because we will also be talking about Doctor Strange 2 and how it is related to the show. Since we are in the multiverse, I am your host, Gab Pot, and let's get into it. Also, this will be another low budget theory edit. Okay, so we started with Mark back in the office, and I was kind of right about the sedation idea. I'm not going to say every time I was right because I was basically everyone except kind of Joe, but we'll get to that later. So he's where it's like, okay, when you had stated that wasn't what happened, that's what they said, so they went with my theory, but not how I expected it. He also says they are in Chicago in Illinois, remember that, and discusses a phenomenon known as the organizing principle, where the mind will create imaginary places to seek shelter from traumatic experiences, which could take the shape of anything, even a psych ward. He also mentions how this new imaginary hippo, or as he called it at first, alligator, could help break down the walls between Mark and Steven. We also go to the two of them facing Taweret, who Steven introduces as the god of women and children, but he could have forgotten rejuvenation. She says that they are in the afterlife, which looks different for every person because they can't comprehend what it would look like. Also, I'm going to do weird voices because this is the multiverse, and I am Gab Pot, not Gab Pat, so I would do it different. Okay, they realize they need to balance the souls and must explore memories. Now, they said that when they said this, I thought of WandaVision episode 8 and got scared, but it turned out to be a really good episode. This one, not WandaVision episode 8. That was a fine episode, but not my favorite. They walk into a room with all the people Mark has killed. He says cities, Dubai, Gabon. Hey, I'm walking here. Steven sees a kid and chases it. If you're liking my accents, leave a like. If you're not, don't. Do the minus like, Yeah. We see a flashback, and Mark and his brother Randall are playing and go into a cave to recreate their favorite movie, Tomb Buster. It starts raining, but they enter anyway. Randall drowns. We start to see that Mark's mom is in a bad mental state after her clearly favorite son dies and blames Mark. One time he sees her with alcohol, so I assume she has abused that to cope, making the mental illness worse. We also see that Mark leaves as a teenager as he's fed up with his mummy. Next, we go to see Khonshu which recruit him, which Mark wasn't about to die nor shot, but he was or dead. He was actually just about to commit suicide, so he wasn't actually dead. He was just about to be dead, and he probably would have died from bleeding, but who knows? And we then switch back to the underworld where we see souls flooding in being judged before they are even dead. The boys go ask if Taweret can get word to Layla to free Khonshu once more, requiring Taweret to go to the gates of Osiris. Impossible if they don't balance the scales. Steven is asking about a specific moment of trauma when Mark gets too stressed and he returns to the office. Arthur gives his compliments for Mark's courage and says the only way to continue is to find out who the OG is, meaning he needs to open up to Steven. The boys see Mark's room, which has Randall's giant fish, very cute, I like that reference, and a Cubs sign, remember that, and a poster for Tomb Raiders, where Steven realizes that he's not the OG because it says something about when danger is near, Steven Grant don't have no fear. Mom yells at Mark to open the door and changes to Steven to hide the pain. Mark says they lived in harmony until their mother Shiva, which is sort of a funeral for Judaism. I need to look that up. For their mother. Steven does not accept that his mom died and goes back to the office. I'm not talking about the show, but I'm talking about that's just what we're going to refer to the room with. What's his name? In the office, they see a diploma which is not signed. Arthur's office, like I said, in Arthur's diploma. And Steven soon goes back, accepting his mom is dead. At the funeral, Mark breaks down and switches to Steven to call his mom. The phone is on a home screen, but since we heard a voicemail noise in episode 1, I assume this is just for production reasons, and it's like, it doesn't have anything to do with the story. Like, he was actually just on his home screen the whole time because he didn't know how phones work. The scales do not balance, and the Duat sends people to seize them, who turn out to be the people Mark killed. Let me go up to remember where, and I'll even do the voices. Dubai, Gabon. Hey, I'm walking here. This is gonna be my worst video ever. Steven tells Mark that he's got it, and then realizes that since they're the same person, he also got it. Steven sacrifices himself for Mark, where the scale is balanced, and Mark goes to the Field of Reeds. Well, it isn't said as the Field of Reeds, but it's Field of Reeds, so I'm going to think it's the Field of Reeds, and then it's playing some weird Spanish song, I don't know why, but and I speak Spanish, but it was too slow and weird. I think it was Spain Spanish, because it had that little lisp at the end, so yeah, I couldn't really understand it. I live in Spanish and I understand Spanish, but I don't really understand saying Spanish because I go, hola, my name is Iberso. You can't even understand that. I was saying English. So what does this all mean? So first Mark ends in the Field of Reeds with Steven in the duat. I think that Tarret has either told Layla or pleaded to the guards, and he will come back at the start of next episode. Actually, we see that in the trailer, which just came out today, and not when I'm writing this today, as in when I'm recording this, so I'm adding things, because I am Gab Pot, and Gab Hat would never add things. He doesn't have a 40-minute video of rambling and what could have been a 20-minute, but we'll move on. I think, like I said, they will be combined because when Steven fell off, he officially came to terms, and I think they will now be combined because they have come to terms with each other, and they're in two different places, two different afterlives, so they're gonna still go back in the same body, but I think they will be combined because the scale is balanced, and it wasn't him falling off that balanced it, but it's like their acceptance of each other, like they finally both accepted each other. I think it happened a bit later for Mark because that was when like he sacrificed himself. He's like, oh no, he's not a little whiny baby, and that's when he saw. Oh yeah. So now they're gonna be one happy person, um, and I also mentioned last week the other sarcophagus being the character I called Joe from merging with Khonshu, giving a new identity. But then Steven cannot remember the beatings. I have to assume he accidentally created an identity. For the sake of clarity, we will call Dave, and is that third sarcophagus and that brutal one. And why it's so brutal is because, like Arthur said in the office, Steven made him up to punish the world, even if it was subconsciously. Now, what do we think about the psych ward? I believe, like in the last episode, they said that it's the mind, and it's based. If you take the organizing principle, it's in the mind, and this is the organizing principle in action. I think this is because the diploma was not signed, and even though this is in the same city as the funeral and the childhood, this being the office, because he's a Cubs fan, so I gotta assume. And then in whatever street they said, I searched that up, that's in there. So, it could happen, but he told Steven that Steven brought them to this mental hospital after his mother died, but he doesn't even know his mom died, and he doesn't say that Mark brought him, or you both came, or just you as in the royal you, but like you. And yeah, he didn't even know his mom was dead, so I think that is BS, just made up for whatever reason. Next, I also believe, well, why was so they can convince him. But next, I believe that Layla was somehow stopped. I'll read this, but she didn't seem stopped in the new trailer again. So this, I'm probably gonna be wrong, but the alternative still could happen. It still could be this, but just the Layla stuff. I wouldn't believe it. Next, I believe that Layla was stopped because she was in so much shock about Mark that they easily seized her, though since she's free, I'm not sure. Now, why I'm saying this is just you see them draining in, so somehow they got it back. Now since she didn't put up a fight, unlike Mark, she's probably not. She's not dead because she wasn't there, but she might be free, so she could get it. But if she is trapped, which I don't think so, Taweret will need to either go with the gods to tell them, and a bit far-fetched, but also possibly, is Randall. Now, I know that Khonshu saved Mark, and I assume Arthur too. It was starting to get dark when they went into the cave, and they were traveling, making him a traveler of the night. My script actually says it wrong, night, as in moon night, but not night, as in Night. I'm talking very fast, and I don't like it, but I'm Gabpot, so what do you know? So maybe somehow, in the moon night time, the moon night of the time, so when he was a boy, what could save him, and then he grew up, and when I mean he, I mean what's his name, Randall. In the comics, Moon Knight's arch nemesis is Shadow Knight, who is also known as Randall Spectre. So who knows? And I mean, how many times do we have fake out deaths? If I ever rewatch the movies, I'll make a score. I'll keep score. Then I can make a video on it. So there you go. Now, before we talk about the next part, which is Doctor Strange, the trailer, we see them fight on a pyramid, which is cool. They have a magic battle. It's supposed to be the shortest episode. So I'd still say most things are gonna hold up. We literally see him come back to life. I don't think we hear him speak any new lines. So we still don't know what accent. I'm rooting for British. But maybe this Dave character, I think that's what I called it. Yeah, Dave. Maybe he will also be combined, and then they'll have a cool New York accent, and they'll be like, "Hey, I'm walking here." Also, we're still going to have a Avenger coming in this episode. So now they're dealing with magic. It looks like in the trailer, maybe Wong. Also, this is all freestyle. This last part. They did say New York. Maybe somehow he used to know Daredevil, but I really doubt it. Now Daredevil did also deal with this morality issue of like, should I kill if it's for the right thing? So he kind of connects to the series. Could also be one of the Midnight Suns characters, since I believe Blade was at the end of what's it called, Eternals, but they never called him an Avenger yet, so I guess we'll have to see. But right now, either Wong or the other man that I said, Daredevil. And if it is Wong, I mean, then I'll have even more connections to Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, but I really doubt if he is in Doctor Strange, it'll be for more than like a 10-second cameo, like some sort of other version of him. Like maybe there is a Joe in the Multiverse of Madness, which I would love to see. But now for the Doctor Strange, I want to point out something I realized while making this. The conflict of Moon Knight is the idea of, it's basically the theory. I'm not saying this is what the show is, but it's like the general one. If you could kill baby Hitler, should you? Ahmed says yes, because he will kill hundreds and millions of thousands of people. Khonshu believes you should only punish him after a crime. So after he's killed the hundreds of millions of people. Now, the TVA, I know that's not Doctor Strange, but it kind of connects to the multiverse, believes that you should stop the branches of the new timelines because if one happened like the Ultron and What If, it could cause chaos and destroy all, like Hitler, but the Illuminati seems in Doctor Strange, just based on what we can see in the trailers, are testing him on his past actions to protect the future. So instead of judging what he will do, they're judging on what he has done, and then trying to prevent bad stuff instead of saying, "You will do this, we're gonna punish you." It's like, "You've done this, and you're dangerous, so we're doing this." Both are policing people for the greater good, but one is getting rid of free will, while the others uh, are only policing sinners to try to prevent more harm after they've done their sin instead of before. Which, if it's before, you can't really have free will because any bad thing won't happen. So you can't choose to do bad, you can only choose to do good. Both sides are interested in the greater good with just different ideas of enforcing it. So however the finale of Moon Knight ends, if you begin to see similarities when watching Doctor Strange, I won't know until it comes on Disney Plus because the nearest theater is 500 miles away. So tell me if I'm right. There's sure there are going to be similar because there's going to be a magic fight because there's always a magic fight. But anyways, thank you all for watching. My name is Gabpot. Thank you for watching again. And if I am wrong, remember, It's all just a theory. A strange moon theory. And cut.